Ladies and gents, by the end of the video, you're not only going to learn how to get paid by being a middleman doing influencer marketing, you are also going to learn how to do that without spending a single dollar, single pound, or a single euro. One of the most commonly asked questions I get asked about this business model is, can I start doing this without spending any money up front? The answer is absolutely. I've been in the same position before when I've been looking for a business where I can legitimately start with zero money up front. So many people would claim to me that their business model did that, but there was always a hidden cost. Well, in this video today, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to start your IMA, exactly what you need to start outreaching to influencers, exactly what you need to know to start getting paid, and how to run a successful influencer campaign. First, let's talk about what you need when you start an IMA. Lots of people stress out when they start and they think they need to spend thousands of pounds registering a business, which now obviously laws and regulations changes from state to state, and I am no tax advisor or money advisor, but I'm going to share with you the story I had and what you need to do to get started. When I got started, I didn't open up a limited company straight away. I started as a proprietor with my brother. This is basically just someone who owns a business by themselves. When most people set up their first online business, they do usually set up as a sole proprietor, for example, any freelance online digital service. These solo proprietorships are the easiest and lowest cost ways to set up an online business. All you have to do is go onto Google and register as a sole proprietor in whatever location you're in, and you do not need to register a business, you just need to choose a name. I started off as a sole proprietor until me and my brother started to hit around 5k. As a sole proprietor, you only need to pay tax on your profits. I would just use a Google sheet to track your profits and all your expenses. And then when you're making enough money, just use a calculator to calculate how much tax you'll owe at the end of the year. Now let's talk about your website. You can use a website like Card, which is free, but realistically, you only really need to have a strong Instagram. So that's honestly more important. Honestly, in the current day and age we live in, fancy websites are useless. Having a good social media is where and how you're going to attract the best influencers. You don't need to make a completely new and separate Instagram account. I can imagine you already have an account set up, so just use that. Personally, I do regret creating a new Instagram account because I didn't need it and it was just a waste of time. Now, the reason you need an Instagram profile is because that is the way you're going to outreach to your influencers and build your influencer network. It's not necessary for you to start posting any content or anything like that. You just need to create a brand page and do a few good posts like these. So when you're ever doing any outreach to brands or any influencers, they can see that you have a professional setup as well as a good bio which explains what you do. I would highly recommend you stay away from anything crazy, just keep it simple. You can use Canva to do this and make some sick graphics all for free. You don't need to be making content or TikTok or Reels on your account, but also do not go ghost. One thing that most people don't realize when working in this business model is that you are actually working with people. It's you connecting influencers with brands. When you're doing outreach, the influencers will look at your profile. So you want to create a profile which is as credible as can be, as well as also looking professional. Now that we have this set up, it's time for us to go ahead and find a place where you can get paid. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be reaching out with influencers and connecting them with brands. So whenever you make that deal happen, you could be getting paid a percentage fee up front, or it could just be a percentage share that you set up with them after the campaign is finished. Like I've mentioned before, it's not necessary to take an upfront fee from the influencer, but it would be very nice, and I have seen some of my students take 2,000 up from just the first deal. To get paid, there's two main ways that I would recommend. First up is Stripe. It's very simple, it's very streamlined, and it's easy to use. Stripe does not have an upfront cost, it's just 3% on the sale which goes through, but honestly, that 3% is worth it with all the tools you get from Stripe. At the end of the day, you don't even need to pay that until you make any money. There's no upfront cost with it at all. You're able to get paid through debit or credit by setting up an automated billing system. It's super simple and very streamlined for collecting payments. You don't even need to have a registered business to set up a Stripe account. The other form of payment you can use is just using a PayPal. You can get your influencers to PayPal you upfront if you want to collect an upfront fee. Or if you want to collect a percentage of the marketing budget, you can do exactly the same. Now that you pretty much have everything set up, it's time for you to run your first campaign and get paid. To do this, you need to reach out to influencers, pitch them on the idea, then reach out to brands in the same niche as your influencers and start to sell your influencer marketing service to brands. You can simply use Instagram DMs or emails to reach out to your first batch of influencers. You can start off by sending emails to influencers and brands by using your personal account. But I do recommend when you've started, you've got a business set up, start to use your business domain to create an email where you can reach out to influencers and brands so that you do look a little bit more professional when you're reaching out to brands and influencers in the future. If you do want to open a business account so you look more professional when you're reaching out, it's £12 up front, then £6 a month using Google domains. But like I said, I wouldn't really worry about that right now. Using a personal account now to email and outreach to brands is just as effective if your emails are personalized. Now you need a way to book and schedule calls with brands, and I use a system called Calendly. I literally use this app for everything in my business. Sales calls, team calls, and even my group calls I take with my program MetaMarketer. By the way, Calendly is also free. So now that you have everything started, start to reach out to influencers so you can build your influencer network and connect them with brands. Let me just give you some insight on how an influencer campaign actually works and how it is run between you, the influencer, and the brand. So let's say you have decided a niche to work in. For this case, we will use fitness as an example. You will go out and outreach to fitness influencers asking them if they want any more brand deals. Let's say you DM'd 100 quality fitness influencers, at least 10 to 20 will get back to you. Now you have an asset of fitness influencers which you can offer to fitness brands. You now email fitness brands explaining how you have X amount of fitness influencers who would love to collaborate and help sell their products. When the brand replies back to you wanting to know more details, it's time for you to schedule a call. Ideally, get the call booked as soon as possible, as the idea of using your influencers is fresh in their mind. On the call, you will talk about your influencer network, and if all goes well, the brand will work with you and your network of influencers. And the next step is to send the products out to the influencers make their videos, the influencers get paid, and you get paid. Let's recap and take a look at the costs associated with this. You will use Instagram for a website or card, or Gmail for sending emails, as well as using Instagram to send DMs to influencers and brands. You will get paid through Stripe, and you will use Calendly to book calls with brands. The grand total for this is absolutely nothing. But let's say you're looking to spend money and invest in yourself to get the top tier softwares to get started. You can use the standard Calendly program, which is free, that is no problem, but I do recommend you invest in buying a business email, which is a Gmail account, as well as also investing into a website like Card, which is also very cheap. You're able to start by using all this for less than £150, and that's if you want to ball out. You don't even necessarily need to even spend that money. That's the amazing thing about running an IMA. Your expenses are super low, but your profits are really, really high for essentially just being the middleman connecting influencers with brands. Most of these business models, when I was 15, 16, 17, I couldn't even start. I didn't have thousands of pounds of my own money just to chuck away and give to spend on a new business model. Now, I do hope you guys got some value from this video. If you did, go ahead, leave a thumbs up, and I do recommend you to save this video to your watch later because you might find something useful to recall back to. With that all being said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.